What's up everyone, as usual it's Wasabi and I'm back with another review. Let's take a look at some details and features of the product, share some things that really did stand out for me and some things that could be improved. And who knows, maybe this could be something for you. This video is not sponsored by anyone or any brand. These are my thoughts and my personal experiences with the product. And today I'm going to share my experience with something a little special. This is the Xlite V3 ES Tournament Edition from PULSAR. And as always, before we get into the mouse, let's take a look at the packaging because that's what you paid for too. This is the dongle that comes included with all esports mice from PULSAR. This dongle in particular lets you go up to 4000 Hz wireless polling rate. It has a nice chunky design, and when you plug it in, there is a blue LED that comes on and it looks pretty good. I'll show it to you later. What's more, in the box you get this really nice USB-C braided cable. It's very nice and bendy. And something you should know, while using the mouse with the cable, you can go up to 8000 Hz polling rate. And the awesome thing about this cable is that it's bent upwards, so this reduces cable drag while using it in the wired mode. PULSAR sticker comes included along with a collector's card. What PULSAR does with all their special edition mice, it doesn't do anything for the product, but it's a nice touch to make the overall product feel a little more special. It comes with a printed copy of the instruction manual, and that's pretty much all you get inside the box. To not waste anyone's time, I'm gonna straight up say that this is my favorite release of 2023. There's been a lot of releases this year, and I feel that this is one of the most interesting gaming mice, at least for 2023. This is the latest ergonomic mouse release from PULSAR, and this one in particular is the Xlite V3 ES. It was released in November, and it is currently sold out for the time being. For those of you who are interested in this mouse, sorry guys, you gotta wait, but I think it's worth it. This Xlite V3 ES edition is going for $129.95, which is $30 more than the original version. You know, I've reached out to PULSAR because I had some questions about the mouse itself, and they did mention that this mouse was specifically designed for esports competition. And as we go through this video, you probably realize that there are a lot of features in this mouse that are here because of the esports player in mind. Take this OLED screen for example. This is a feature that greatly benefits the esports player who's traveling from tournament to tournament. And with this feature, you basically don't need any software to use the full potential of the mouse because everything can be set and adjusted right here. And that is very cool. In fact, you can't use the mouse with PULSAR's Fusion software. This mouse is completely independent and controlled with the OLED display. I myself don't take part in competitions or travel to different tournaments, but it is such a breath of fresh air to take the mouse out of the box, not having to install any software or update the mouse at all, and just go for it. And I think that's fantastic. That is the experience you don't normally get with gaming products these days. The design of the Xlite V3 ES, in short, looks incredible. I was very skeptical when I saw the design of the mouse when it was first announced. I thought that the scroll wheel looked very out of place. It looks odd when you look at it straight on, but when you look at it at an angle, oh boy, this looks expensive. I mean, look at that. That's very nice. The design of the scroll wheel is something that might bother some people. It's very big, it's very bold, but it grows on you. And it's not just the aesthetics when it comes to this scroll wheel. It really is a great feeling piece of aluminium that they use as a scroll wheel. I'll get more into that later. But for now, I think this looks pretty sick. Another element you'll notice on all PULSAR's esports mice is that it has this red strip right here. Now this is purely aesthetic, it's just part of the design language they use for their esports line. And like with all PULSAR mice, the sensor opening right here is very large. It makes it very easy to clean a sensor when you need to. The biggest difference between the design of this and the regular version is that this has no bottom cutouts. And my guess would be because of this new OLED display, with the components taking up quite a fair bit of space. Maybe the open bottom design will not look as good or work as well with this new component. To put things into perspective, my hand size is 17.5 by 9. When I first used this mouse, it was such a comfortable, ergonomic experience. I've been out of the country for about a week, and when I did come back and laid my hand on this mouse, it felt just as comfortable as the first time. It really is a great shape. The way that the curves on the mouse buttons conforms to my index and middle finger, it feels so nice. It's very well secured, very well placed. I get a lot of confidence in the placement right here. All the contact points of the mouse give a lot of confidence in the grip. The curves of the mouse give you a sensation of a very snug fit, and that is very nice. It feels comfortable on both the left and the right sides of the mouse. Normally with ergonomics, there are a few people who have the issue of some discomfort, particularly with the pinky and the ring finger. And that's because some gaming mice tend to flare out with its design on the side, and that gives quite a bit of discomfort in the fingers right here. With this design, it's nothing aggressive. It's very gentle and very rounded off on its curves. It feels so comfortable, and that's kind of strange coming from a mouse that was purely designed for esports. So with this ergonomic mouse, it's designed for the palm grip, and you can use it with a claw grip, not so much for fingertip grip, but let me show you how it looks like on camera. So this is how it looks with the claw grip. It's usable. I don't generally use it with a claw grip. I use a relaxed claw grip, something like this. It feels a lot more comfortable and controllable this way for me. With a fingertip grip, it doesn't feel so great. I feel that the back of the mouse keeps bumping into the inner side of my palm right here. Not something I generally enjoy, but maybe it's just me. For the grip that feels the most comfortable and most natural with this shape is the palm grip. With the Xlite V3 ES, I can do a true palm grip, and it's a very wholesome experience. So how I normally use the mouse is with a relaxed claw grip or with a palm grip. I switch between the two just based on how I feel, not for any advantage in competitive games. It's just a preference thing that I like to change up every now and then. Stated weight of the Xlite V3 ES is 65 grams plus minus 1 gram. I noticed something at the back of the box that was a little confusing, so I reached out to PULSAR and asked them about it. There's a line of text that says optimize 60 gram level balance weight distribution. I wanted to be sure that this is not a case of false advertising. In fact, it turns out it was just a bit of a loss in translation. So what they were trying to say is that there's a 60 gram weight distribution around the center, and this sentence makes a lot more sense in other languages. So to be clear, the mouse is 65 grams with a variance of plus minus 1 gram. The coating on this mouse is excellent. As this mouse was made for esports competition, this coating is perfect. It's matte, it's grippy. It's a nice high quality matte coating you get on this mouse. And under the light, there's a rather nice sheen to it. With a wonderful grippy coating like this and a very fitting ergonomic shape, you get an extremely great amount of control over the mouse. With this coating, I don't feel that there's a need to add grip tapes, but for some people with much sweatier hands, you probably might still want to get some. What I don't like about this coating in this black colorway is that smudges on the coating are very visible and they stick on quite well. Only a black colorway is available for this edition, so if you want a white color, it's only available on the original Xlite V3. I hope they make a white version of this because this is seriously a very good mouse. This being the esports edition, there are no programmable buttons because there's no software to control it. But for functional buttons, you have your left and right mouse click, scroll click, 2 side buttons, and your display controls right over here. There are 2 buttons. One is the polling rate and the other is for the DPI. These use PULSAR's optical switches, and they don't sound very nice, to be honest. I don't like them so much. These don't sound crispy at all. They are optical switches, but for the sound profile, they kind of lean towards the mushy side. And my guess is because of the shell structure of this mouse and the thickness of the mouse buttons. Weight reduction tends to greatly affect the characteristics of the sound profile. I gotta mention the default debound settings on this mouse was 3 milliseconds. While testing the debound setting at 0 milliseconds, I had the issue of accidental slam clicking. And that's because at 0 milliseconds, the mouse is so sensitive that when I accidentally slam click, it does register mouse button 1. So depending on how aggressive you play, I recommend testing out different debound time settings to figure out which works for you. These side buttons are the least favorite part for me. The size of these side buttons are great, but what bothers me is the amount of post travel and just the overall feel is kind of mushy. These are not loose by any means, they are well put together. It's just that the amount of post travel kind of bothers me. I feel like they should put something a little more snappy and crispy on an esports mouse. Just a personal preference. Scroll wheel is probably the most visually outstanding thing on this mouse, but it's not only for visuals because this scroll wheel feels fantastic. From how it looks, you naturally expect a much stiffer scroll experience, but this is a very light scroll wheel. Steps are much lighter than what you find on PULSAR's X2 or X2 V2s. It's very nice if you have a habit of speed scrolling. Something to note, it does feel a little cold to touch sometimes, because this is an aluminum scroll wheel. It's actually kind of nice. The scroll clicks on this mouse is very nice. It's neither crispy nor damp. They do sound and feel good. It needs quite a bit of force to click through, but give it some time to break in. Just something I noticed with all PULSAR mice is that their scroll clicks tend to be a bit stiffer. It's nothing that will ruin your experience. I'd rather a stiffer feeling scroll click than a loose one out of the box if I'm gonna use the mouse for the next couple of years. With the Xlite V3 ES, you get the POR 3395 sensor. In conversation with PULSAR, they mentioned that this is the best sensor in performance and reliability. From a consumer's perspective, without a doubt, the POR 3395 sensor has become the standard that gamers come to expect from high-performance gaming mice. All the latest POR sensors, you get motion sync as standard, and the 3395 can go up to 26,000 dpi. However, with the Xlite V3 ES, 12,800 dpi is the highest you can go up to. So this is one of the questions that I asked PULSAR, because I'm very sure most people who get this mouse will wonder why they cannot go any higher than 12,800 dpi. And that's pretty much because when they were developing this mouse, their priority was to keep things as simple as possible and not stuffing so many options and functions into one little screen. And that makes perfect sense, because with a screen this small and having so many functions and customization options, I can imagine a lot of people getting lost and being super frustrated while trying to figure out how to access certain options and settings on this screen. When I first read the instruction manual, I found it to be a little confusing, so I prepared this little segment to give you a better idea of how to control the settings on this mouse. First thing is pretty simple. There are two buttons on the bottom side of the mouse. You can press either button once and that will activate the screen. First thing you want to do is set your polling rate, and you can do that by pressing the dedicated polling rate button located right above the OLED screen. Simple as that. In this step, you can adjust the DPI setting. As I mentioned before, you can go up to 12,800 DPI. Unfortunately, these step levels are fixed, so if you are used to something in between, there's not much room for customization in that area. This step, you can adjust your debounce setting by holding down on the polling rate button and clicking the DPI button to cycle through the debounce time settings. Over here, you can toggle your motion sync to be on or off by simply holding down the polling rate button and clicking on the left mouse button. Adjusting your lift-off distance is pretty much the same, just that you'll be pressing on the right mouse button instead of the left. This final step is not necessary, but it's good to know that you can toggle on and off the LED light on your 4K dongle, because it is quite a bright light, and it's nice that PULSAR actually thought of this to give gamers the option to switch off the LED light, as it can be kinda distracting to some people. Just gotta hold mouse button 5, scroll click, and right mouse click. Just for anyone who's curious about the settings on my mouse right now, it's set to 800 dpi, 2000 Hz polling rate with motion sync of 1mm lift-off distance and a debounce time of 3 milliseconds. The highest wireless polling rate you can go with this mouse is 4000 Hz with this included dongle. In order to use the mouse at 8000 Hz polling rate, you gotta use it in the wired mode, and that lets you adjust the setting right here to 8000 Hz. One of the questions asked PULSAR was to find out if this dongle works with all their other mice, but unfortunately, though this looks like their original dongle, it's actually a little different on the inside. And this is only compatible with PULSAR's esports line of mice. The stated battery life of this mouse is 70 to 100 hours. My guess is 70 hours for 2000 Hz polling rate and 100 hours at 1000 Hz. I did notice this mouse sleeps after 40 seconds, and as soon as you move it, the reconnection is instant. You know, being able to change your polling rate just by pushing this button here is a great battery saving feature, because normally with other mice you gotta access the polling rate settings through the software, but with this one you just press one button and it goes down to 1000 Hz. Or if you're gonna go into a game, let's say I'm going into Valorant, I wanna use it at 4000 Hz, just gotta press the button and I'm ready to go. Sensor placement of this mouse is nice. It's not smacked right in the middle, it's a bit higher up, and it falls a little behind my thumb when I use a true palm grip. But when using a relaxed claw grip, it aligns quite perfectly. This is how I prefer my sensors. If you've seen my other review videos, you know that my personal preference is right at this point, having the sensor align my thumb. And that is the point that I feel I have the most control over the mouse. The mouse skates on these are very nice. They're high quality, very smooth. And what I did notice a difference between this and what you find on a X2 V2 is that these skates are glossy out of the box. I'm not too sure why, but when I seen the X2 V2s, the skates look kind of matte compared to this glossy finish here. I can't be sure if it's a completely different mouse skate or it's just a slight variance in the mass production. Overall, my experience with this mouse, it has been very responsive. I've never had any issues with it so far. And I want to say that just because this mouse is designed for esports does not mean that you cannot use it for single player games or casual gaming, because I absolutely enjoy using this mouse for single player games, and it's great for competitive gaming and for daily use. Most gaming mice these days excel in one or two things, but with this one it kind of felt great in all three. So in conclusion, here are some of the things that I like about the Xlite V3 ES. This OLED screen is amazing, and I think PULSAR did an excellent job integrating this new feature into the mouse. And I do love how the screen blends in so nicely, it's almost unnoticeable. Being able to check your battery life just by flipping over the mouse is such a convenient thing for gamers. And you can see all your mouse settings at a glance. This is great. And this is the best feeling palm grip I've ever experienced on a gaming mouse so far. Now here are some things that I feel can be improved with this mouse. These clicks should be improved. I feel that they are a bit too much on the mushy side. Opticals is great for this kind of mouse, but yeah, they're just a little too mushy. Perhaps what would be good for a mouse like this is to use hybrid switches, something similar to what you find in the Superlight 2. Those switches have the great feeling of a mechanical switch and the performance of optical switches. And you can toggle between using it in a hybrid mode or a full optical switch mode. And I think that would be a great battery life saving feature for a mouse like this. On top of that, I feel the side buttons on this mouse can be improved. The post travel does bug me a little bit. I feel that a much snappier experience would fit a mouse like this. I think this mouse looks fantastic in black, but having a white version, that would look super elegant. I think that would be very nice to see. And maybe this as a size 1 mini version, that would get a lot of gamers very interested in the mouse. The mouse itself already feels like a very premium package. Maybe to add the icing on the cake, throw in a mouse pouch that's exclusive to the esports line. I think esports players and gamers in general would appreciate a nice pouch to keep something that looks this good safe from scratches on the move. Okay, so what do I think of the value of this mouse? At $129.95, though it's $30 more expensive than the original version, it is still cheaper than other big brands out there. And that's pretty amazing, because with this mouse, you get a 4K dongle out of the box. With other gaming mice out there, the dongle is an additional purchase, and that just makes this deal a lot sweeter. You get much better quality and so much value compared to big brands out there. That is very impressive. Again, this mouse weighs in at 65 to 66 grams, and if you're someone who's looking for the lightest mouse on the market, this is not something for you. Generally, 65 grams is already a very light mouse. If you're someone who appreciates a product that's well put together, has good materials, and the latest innovations from a company, then this is a very good choice for you. I think one of the reasons why this mouse feels like such a good deal is because I don't feel like I'm paying more for less material with this mouse. I'm paying for the innovation of a gaming company, and that is what gaming peripherals used to be about. It has the latest of PULSAR's gaming technology, and this is the first of its kind to ever have an OLED display. This is what gaming products used to be about: innovation, great quality, and the capabilities for high-level competition. I am just so impressed with the Xlite V3 ES. This is a wonderful mouse. I won't be surprised if other companies start copying PULSAR's OLED display, because this is such a convenient feature for a gamer. I think it's absolutely wonderful. And you know how gamers have been burned by bad software from big companies for the longest time. As a gamer, this makes me very happy. In a time where ultra lightweight mice is in trend, I do admit when I first saw the concept of adding an OLED display to esports mice, sounded like a very bad idea, but now that it's here, it's a lot better than what I thought. And I am very impressed. Just wait and you'll see big companies start to copy PULSAR because they see the potential in this feature. On a side note, they just released the X2H Esports Edition, and that is the second addition to their esports line. Same with this one, it comes with the aluminum scroll wheel and an OLED display at the bottom. The shape of the X2H was very well received by the community, and that is a mouse that I'm very excited to try. I haven't got my hands on it yet, but you know, something to look forward to. It's nice to see PULSAR doing something innovative instead of just creating the next lightest mouse on the market. That trend is kind of getting a bit boring, to be honest. And as a consumer, you start to realize that you're actually paying a lot more for less of a product. They are not doing anything innovative. There's no new technology. Everything is basically the same, just a different shape and a lot lighter. But I don't discount the fact that ultra lightweight mice has its benefits, because it really does. But the question is, does it justify the amount you pay for it? And that is a question that I think a lot of consumers are starting to ask themselves. So why is the Xlite V3 ES deserving of the best release of 2023? Well, with this mouse, you get a lot of value for money. You get PULSAR's innovative technology. A 4K dongle comes included. There is a great ergonomic shape, good battery life, and probably one of the best things ever, it is 100% software free. I'm still working out a rating system for this channel. For now, the Xlite V3 ES gets the Immortal Wasabi. It's pretty much the Editor's Choice Award with some wasabiness added into it. It's not perfect, and not everyone would agree with the way I feel about this mouse. We all know that gaming peripherals have a lot of personal preference involved. With this mouse, it ticks a lot of boxes, and I feel that it's well deserved. This channel has hit 1,000 subscribers, and thank you everyone for your support. This is huge for me. I still need another 2,000 content watch hours or something like that to qualify for the partners program, but I think this is quite a win for the channel already, and it's all thanks to you guys. I don't have a habit of asking everyone I meet outside to follow my YouTube channel because I want to keep our audience authentic, and if I just ask anyone to subscribe to the channel, they may or may not watch my content, and that would greatly affect the channel's algorithm, which I don't want to. So yeah, I'm just keeping it real. Fun fact is that majority of the 1,000 subscribers we have in this channel right now are people I've never met before. Everyone came to this channel as a stranger, and I still do remember the first few comments you guys left on my earlier videos. I am still very grateful. Whenever you guys comment, like, and share my videos, I feel very motivated to keep doing more and keep this channel growing. And I will. 1,000 subscribers. The next milestone is not gonna be too high. Let's set it to 1 million subscribers. 1 million subscribers. I got this. This came across my mind. I'm sure a lot of you look onto Reddit for more information on products. I understand it can be intimidating to ask questions on forums because there are a lot of enthusiasts on those forums. So if you have any questions on this mouse or any other products I've covered in my review videos, feel free to ask me here and I'll make some time to get back to you. Thanks for watching everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.